Once again, something that's probably better for the interview, but
Talk about it. This is the interview.
is it? You're recording right now?
Yeah, I'm
I
recording.
I am totally not recording on Audacity. I was still setting up.
Okay, FailPod. There we go.
Let me go ahead and test that real quick, and then we'll get into that. Anyway, I started recording. I don't know how that's going to match up with things, but I am recording now.
Okay, fine. Um, sure, whatever.
We just lost everything. No podcast anymore. He started recording.
You know what? Let's start with the intro now. And
43 minutes in. Let's start with the intro.
yeah. Oh man. Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, hello, and welcome back to yet another FailPod. Today, my guest is the one and only FrozenFoxy.
Whatever.
There you go. That's FrozenFoxy. We can shut down the podcast now. Hope you enjoyed it so
Okay.
far, guys.
Awesome.
And yep, see you guys later. Bye bye. No, no, don't go. Just stay.
No?
Just for a
Okay.
little while.
Okay, I'm here. I'm here.
Oh, hi, hi. Well, for the ones that doesn't know, Frozen Foxy actually is one of the reasons that I actually started Let's Playing because back then I was a gamer like any of you, I guess. Whoever's watching this podcast, I don't know what you're doing here, but get a life. And
Hey, I might be watching this, so.
oh, you might. Sorry. Then get a life. No, I was just joking.
Oh,
So
okay. I see how it is.
oh, no, darn it. I think one of the first Let's Plays that saw Frozen Foxy do was, if I'm not mistaken, was Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. But I might be mistaken because I used to play like gazillion games before I started recording, and I just searched game X whatever, and your name came up, so I just like started watching and got quote addicted end quote. So when I was thinking about Let's Plays, and I looked into many Let's Plays back then, I still do, be creative. And yeah, Frozen Foxy was mine kind of a Let's Player, so to speak. There are some Let's Players that I watched and stopped watching. Frozen Foxy I'll still watch, so there's a link in the description and an annotation somewhere on the screen. By the way, I'm waving right now at my screen, even though you cannot see it, but who
I
cares?
can totally see it right now. Trust me, folks.
Oh,
I see exactly what he's doing. I'm actually outside his window. He doesn't know it right now. It's a surprise.
point at the same point on the screen. You see? It's right there in the corner. Yep, exactly. So there are some videos on my old channel and on Fox's channels on Killing Floor that we did on Christmas.
Hmm.
Special project, whatever. We had lots of fun. We had bubble gums on sale, and we had Shadow Foxy keep on talking. Shadow Foxy, sorry, the Shadow Cookie and Foxy kept telling me
Oh,
to.
yeah, yeah. Cookie just would not shut up during that, would he? That was
I love it. I love it. He's an awesome guy.
He is an awesome guy. Have you ever thought about having him on the show? He's
I
he's
actually
pretty
did.
fun to talk to.
Actually did.
Did
Yep.
you?
Yep. But
Okay.
I just have like a list of names,
Hmm.
and the first time to say no, I'll skip to the next one. But so far, nobody said no, so I'm pretty lucky. Just but I have like about 4 or 5 names, so whatever.
Yeah.
I'm not that creative. Sorry, guys. I'm ethnic. Deal with it.
Oh, come on. You can find plenty more people to be on the podcast. I'm just pretty sure that even though you'll find plenty more, you'll also find that a lot of them don't reply to you.
Yes, they don't really care. Who's that? Madneck? Ignore. So, just like a random, so creative, super creative. Look at my spark of imagination here. What was the reason you started Let's Playing?
The reason I started Let's Playing, that's actually a pretty easy one to answer for me. Um, a long time ago, I watched this video that was called the top 13 horror games because I am a big fan of every kind of horror game out there. Like I said a long time ago, when I was a little kid, I played Doom, and for weeks afterwards, I was having nightmares. That game scared the hell out of me. But ever since then, I kept playing horror games. For whatever the reason, I loved getting the piss scared out of me. I don't know why, but at some point I couldn't find anything that was scaring me any longer, and I just started looking up videos to find horror games that might scare me. And one of the games on there was Eternal Darkness. And it looked amazing, but I didn't have a GameCube, and I was like, okay, I wanna try and look up some videos of Eternal Darkness to see how this game plays and what it's like, all that kind of stuff. I still don't have a GameCube and I still don't have Eternal Darkness, but whatever.
What deserves?
Anyway, when I went to search for it, I found these videos called "Let's Play Eternal Darkness" by a girl named SS Skinner, and I started watching it, and there was three parts, and then it just stopped. I couldn't find any more parts, and the date
She
on it.
stopped at LPing now, didn't she?
I think she has. I think she has.
I think she only streams now, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what she does right now. But yeah, I found those videos of her, and there was only three parts, and I noticed that it was months and months before I had watched those videos that they had actually stopped. And I was like, maybe she's done it on some other site because she's probably the only one that does this kind of thing. And so I started searching for Let's Play Eternal Darkness and SS Skinner, and I found part four of Let's Play Eternal Darkness, and I was like, oh yes, I found it. So now I can start watching this, and I clicked on the video, and I was like, hold on, that doesn't sound like SS Skinner anymore. And I looked down, and it was this girl named Katrin Onis, who turns out is my sister.
Oh, wow.
And I found out that this whole Let's Play thing was not just SS Skinners. There was a lot of people doing it. And at that point in time, when I realized that there was so many people doing that, I became inspired by the both of them to do my own Let's Play of a game near and dear to my heart called Thief Deadly Shadows. And that ended up being my very first Let's Play. And luckily, I had a little bit of knowledge about how to record stuff because years before I had made music videos using something that you actually got into watching me through was Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. I made some random music videos with some Marilyn Manson songs in the background, which got copyright strikes.
Yep. Of course. Of course.
But yeah, those were my very first videos, followed by the Let's Play of Thief Deadly Shadows, which was basically inspired by Katrin Onis and SS Skinner. When I realized that a bunch of people were doing it, I was like, hey, I can do this. I could totally do this. And I more or less had the skills from one, doing the music videos, and two, at the time, I was technical support. So I talked on the phone to a lot of people at the time to tell them how to resolve their problems. So it was more or less a natural progression to do commentary.
Right.
I don't know why it was a natural progression, but it worked like that. So somehow I managed to get into it. And I think
I
it
just can't
was.
imagine the first lines like, "Hello guys, I'm FrozenFoxy. How can I help you?" Yes, what's the problem? Oh wait, I'm Let's Playing. Sorry.
It was similar to that. I was just basically talking about the tutorial in my very first video, and I was like, and these footprints lead over here, and blah blah blah. Obviously, I was not the best commentator when I first started, and I'm still not the best commentator right now. I'll tell you that much. But it was interesting, and
What is the best commentator?
the best commentator. I probably would have to go with some of the guys from the Something Awful forum where Let's Play started. I really like people like Proton John and Slow Beef and Diabetes. I enjoy listening to those people a whole lot. And there was this one guy.
But why? I mean, what do they do that, others don't do?
It's
Like they being informative, they're being
they're intelligent. They're very intelligent. There's something about intelligence plus
damn
humor that
it,
really
not
attracts me
intelligent.
to watch that. I
I
I
knew I was
really like
missing
that.
something. Damn it. That like be more intelligent, idiot.
The dumber that someone is when they're doing a let's play, the more it tends to turn me off, which is why I cannot withstand watching people like Tobuscus doing his gameplays or iJustine. iJustine makes me want to pull my eyes out, and then
I don't
like
watch them. I went to their channel once or twice. Tabascus maybe twice because
mhm.
it does like some. I think it's the guy that does also musicals, right? To the
Yes, yes,
on the trailers, yeah.
those
So
are
one of
those are
those
clever. Those are clever.
yes,
I
those
like his
those are
music
quite
thing.
funny, which I sometimes enjoy. But
Mhm.
I just think I would just like went once and I was like, okay, that was a mistake, you know.
Yeah, he's not very good. And then later on, the guy who shall not be named started copying him and now has about 2 million subscribers.
The guy that
Uh,
oh yeah, the one that screams. Oh look,
yes,
it's a
yes,
table. Ah! Yeah,
basically. At some point during my Amnesia playthrough, about a couple years after I did it, someone came onto my video and just said barrels in all caps. I was like, okay, I don't get it. And then someone else replied to him and said, get the fuck out. And I was like, what's going on?
yeah.
I had no idea. And a couple years later, the Shadow Cookie told me what it meant. And I was like, I'm not even going to bother going to watch one of those videos. If I don't like Tobuscus and this guy is supposed to be worse than Tobuscus, I'm not going to like him either. So I never went.
Well, I'll admit like a small confession that I was interested in who is this guy that people are so like yelling his name whatever and admiring him. And I tried to watch one or two of his videos, and I said, Really? I mean, this. What's entertaining in this? I mean, I'm a half deaf person, right? I have ear aid on both ears,
Mhm.
right? Right now, I'm not using them because I have headset on. But when I go outside or whatever, then I do use them. And I could hear him scream, and my headset was on lowest. So just like, what's entertaining about it? I mean, you're bleeding outside of your ears. What? What? It's like, hey, look at me. I'm recording myself chopping my own penis. Yay!
Oh man, the very first time that I actually got to see any of that was when the guys over at Retsupre did the Adults React to video. I had never watched it before that, and I refused to watch it when I heard that he was like Tobuscus. And when I watched that Adults React to video, I refused even more to ever go to his channel.
Yeah.
I mean, I could not believe what he was saying in that video. I was like, "Are you serious?" And
Can I call myself after being on his channel?
yeah,
Okay.
that's
I shall quote myself, and I'll
yeah.
also name him by name. I don't know if he deserved that respect, but whatever. Let's be nice.
Okay, okay.
PewDiePie does retarded humor for retards.
I kind of cringed when you said that. I can't say the name. I can't do it.
That's what he does. Retarded humor for retards.
Well, you know, there's
And let me do another quote. Total Biscuit, which a man that I really, really respect because he is very clever and very intelligent and,
yeah.
he's very, informative in whatever is going on. He said, well, what's the big surprise? He didn't really, I don't know if he really replied to that one or not, but he sometimes talks in a cynical, not sometimes, always talks in a cynical way and applies to few things simultaneously. And he said, well, what do you expect? YouTube is filled with retards.
So yeah, I've watched a bit of Total Biscuit, and at one point there was a channel that was created called Forever Pandering. I don't know if you ever heard of that one,
Never.
but Forever Pandering, for those who still think it's a joke, is Total Biscuit. And it's
Really?
basically his channel where he does wherever the hell he wants. And he puts on a different voice. And in one of his videos, he called it Total Confession, and he put a picture of cookies up there, which in Britain
Mm.
would be called biscuits. Total confession. The joke is that he's not telling people who he is, but in that video, he spoke identically to the way that Total Biscuit sounds. And you
Can you
can
give me a
tell.
link to that channel, please? I would love to
Absolutely.
have the link.
But it looks like, you know what? He might have taken it down. No, wait. I think it's still here.
I found I'm actually typing it right in right now. Forever Pandering, I found it, but it's like it has 0 videos uploaded.
Yeah, he took down all of his videos. I'm kind of disappointed.
I'm very
Because
disappointed.
it was an amazing channel. He had like this classical music going on, and he was talking about how he was searching for the perfect torture, and he has finally found it, and he'll let it speak for itself. And it was an iJustine video. It was iJustine in Portal 2, and she was trying to figure out this really simple puzzle where all she had to do was shoot a portal um, onto a ledge somewhere and then go through an open portal on the other side of the map so that she could get over there. And she was just screaming her head off about how she couldn't get up there. She kept trying to do things, and then at one point she shot the portal up on top where she needed to do it, and then she was like, "I don't understand." And she was looking directly at
Just go through
the
the portal, yeah.
the orange portal where she could go through, and then she shot the orange portal, and the blue portal appeared next to it, and I was like, "Oh my god!" And so it was another 10 minutes of her just freaking out again, and I was like, "You solved it! You already solved it!" And oh my god, the forever pandering voice that he had on there was freaking amazing.
You know what the really fun part is? Total Biscuit sucks at puzzle fixing. I mean, every time he does a WTF is, and I follow him, I wouldn't say religiously, but I do follow his channel. I get updated on the channel at least once a day if I can. Every time he does a WTF is a puzzle game, whatever, he just like sucks at it badly. I mean, I'm not joking. It really does. Sometimes he's just like, okay, after 40 minutes, and like, he pauses and starts from the same spot. After 40 minutes, I found out what to do, whatever, just like, what?
By the way, I have a gift for you.
For me.
Someone else uploaded iJustine Forever Pandering on their channel, and here's the video.
I got it.
It is absolutely amazing, and
Right.
it might be out there somewhere. He did a second one with iJustine. It was called iJustine 2 Electric Boogaloo.
Electric Boogaloo.
Yes, and it was fantastic. But I definitely recommend watching that video.
Oh yeah, he has it on his channel.
Mhm.
The same guy.
Yeah, but Forever Pandering is Total Biscuit.
Okay.
Whether people will agree or not, I'm highly
I'll be the
doubtful.
judge on that. I've been following his channel for how long? When was the beta for Wrath of the Lich King? 4 years ago, maybe?
I wouldn't know since I don't really like World of Warcraft.
Whatever. Well, it was maybe 3 or 4 years ago. I don't even remember. I don't really care. But I started watching him since then when the beta was released. Actually, prior to that, I started watching the Yogscast because I was like a really hardcore raider, and they were doing. I was looking for tutorials how to down bosses, and they had the most hilarious ways of showing tutorial boss fights. They would show a boss fight and they would talk complete nonsense that does not relate to the boss fight. You're just like, what the hell? You try to get focused on the boss fight itself, and you're hoping for tactics or whatever, and they're starting talking about sausages or whatever. Just like what?
Honestly, I have never gotten into the Yogs cast. I watched a few of their videos, and it went the same way as Tobuscus with me. I just couldn't stand it anymore. It was kind of funny at first, but it was just not for me. I couldn't stand watching
They
them.
do have a lot of jokes that they're repeating. I mean, I've been following them for quite a long time, and they're still using the same jokes from time to time. But I guess that's for the guys that follow them. So it's like an inside joke for the viewers. I guess I'm not sure, but
Not for me. Not for me.
few mistakes I did playing blind, and I probably will do the same mistake again when Hitman hit the shelf on the 20th of November, which is very, very soon. I already got it pre-order on Steam, and I'll probably do a blind run on that one because I am freaking in love with Hitman games,
Mhm.
and I really, really do. And I don't know if you do like it, or don't like it, but the David Biston, whatever. I don't remember his last name, but the voice of Hitman, right?
Mhm.
And the visual look of Hitman is based on this David guy. And originally he was not supposed to be the voice actor of Absolution because either he was busy or he was not approached, whatever. I don't care about the details behind it, and many people started opening petitions about bring us back our Hitman voice or screw you up, whatever, shove that game up your arse or whatever. And yeah, that's what happened basically. There is a guy that I admire when it comes to Hitman Blood Money game. His name is HitGod47,
Mhm.
and the guy did Hitman levels, the Blood Money ones, in so many ways. Like I don't know if you ever played it. Have you ever?
I've played Blood Money. I haven't played any of the other Hitman games, but I did like Blood Money a lot.
Right. So at every end of the game, you have like a list of what you did, right? How many shots you fired, how many headshots, if there were accidents, etc. Right?
Hmm.
And by that list, you get a score. That guy managed to complete, if I'm not mistaken, all the levels, but maybe not all. But if I'm not mistaken, all the levels as a zero. Like at the end of the game, it shows zero. He didn't kill anyone. There were no accidents, nothing, and he gets Silent Assassin. The way he did it, he figured out. I don't know how. He said that he saw a few videos here and there and started practicing. And what he did was basically gather like the target he needs to take out, knock them out, and then alert the guards so they could follow him because there's like a inside. I don't know if it's a bug, but mechanic that if a guard see you and you're in a restricted area, the guard will chase you, right?
Hmm.
Until you stop, and it will say, "Hey, you cannot be here." So you
Right.
can run around across the whole level, and it will follow you, right? And then it will run the whole way back
Hmm.
because that's the mechanic of the game. And basically, what he did, like, gather all the targets he need, or if it's one or three, whatever, it depends on the game, on the level, and just like gather them up, lying down like flat, and then he just like get into a restricted area, get a guard or two following him, and start running back to the area of the targets, and then just crouch behind them. So when the guards see that, they're just like getting really full alerted. What the hell, And they're pulled out the guns and they're firing at you, but they're not really hitting you. They might hit you once or twice, but they're actually hitting those bodies that lying on the ground, and the guards are actually killing the targets, and then it just like runs to the exit.
I cannot even tell how that would work because I've played Hitman, Blood Money on Pro and all that kind of stuff, and I know you die really fast if you're not careful. So that sounds amazing.
And he completed all the levels with suit on. Some levels you're just like, I have to change clothes.
Uh-huh.
And he completed all the levels in suit on, all the levels in accidents, all the levels in with sniper. Like uses all the sniper to kill all his targets, which was brilliant.
Hmm.
Especially the Agent Smith one, when you need to rescue with some Agent Smith guy and kill one target and two are bonus, and he killed all
Hmm.
three with the sniper, which was like wow. And
That was the hospital level, right?
yes, yes, and it's always packed. It's a closed area, and he used the sniper to kill three targets. And just like what? And he's really really good. And he completed runs like New Life. He completed it in less than a minute, 40
Wow.
seconds, or something, and he completed the whole freaking. Just like what?
That's pretty crazy. That's pretty crazy.
He is insane when it comes to Hitman Blood Money, and I followed his channel quite a lot, and he also opened a petition to that. I actually obviously I signed up. I was just like, what, Hitman without his voice? What the hell, It's like having Splinter Cell without his voice. Oh wait, damn it, we're actually having it in the next. Never mind.
So you
Um,
you remind me of another game where they have one guy across multiple games, and that was Fallout.
mhm.
I don't know if you know this, but the narrator for all the Fallout games is Ron
I
Perlman,
love him.
and he has been in every single one, even the bad ones,
I love him.
and he's always the narrator. And it amazes me that he has been doing that since what was it, like 97, and he has been doing
Yes.
that till now. It's just
First
amazing.
one 97, then 99. Yeah.
Yeah,
He,
I
he
that's crazy.
I actually watched his movies.
Hmm.
The ones that are Hellboy, which were fine, but even
Hmm.
the other ones, I only watched his movies just to hear his voice because his voice is so freaking awesome, And I'll tell it's kind of weird in my brain. It's registered like Fallout 2 is one of the best games you ever played. Fact. That's it. That's what my brain tells me. Okay. And the reason why my brain tells me is because I actually played the game about 20 times. Okay, and it's a very long game,
Hmm.
And every time you play it, you discover something new. It's like for me is uh, blah, blah, blah. Fallout 2 and Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines are games that I probably played the most, like most times, right?
Hmm.
Completed most times, and every time I play it, I find something new. Like at my last Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines run that I did, which was a Malkavian, I think it was my 20th run, maybe, you know? And I discovered something new. When you go to Hollywood, there's that guy that sells guns and, it's in a mini store, whatever. And when you go behind him, on his shirt, it says there's like a picture of a roll toilet paper and it says always wipe twice. And it cracked me up with the first time I saw it, which was the last time I played it. And I never saw it, ever.
There is so much in that game that you can find if you're looking carefully. I think I've played that game at least once on every different bloodline, as well as I went back and started playing with a bunch of different histories. So I probably played through that game about as much as you have, if not more, because that just used to be one of my absolute favorite games, along with the Thief series and the original Prince of Persia game. Those were probably the ones I've played the most out of any games. Um, and for
I
the
need to
Thief
try out the Thief.
series, what's that?
I need to try out the Thief. I played the Thief for a few moments, and it wasn't really my thing because I was so into Splinter Cell.
Hmm.
I always like that the technology that actually Splinter Cell uses, and the way he does stuff. Like you can use thermal vision to see on a pad, like what's the code, because the most died out one is the first one,
Hmm.
and the more brighter it's the last one that was used or whatever, and things like that. I really enjoyed it. And in Thief, it was like shoot water arrows. It's like what, you
You
know.
know, I was always into medieval stuff, so Thief was right up my alley. That's why it ended up being one of my favorite games, and I really like the whole sneaking mechanic instead of running and gunning. I was never really too big into the whole run and gun thing.
Me too.
I mean, I played Doom as one of the first three games that I played, but it was never a favorite of mine. I enjoyed Doom, but it was not like something that I would play all the time compared to something like Prince of Persia,
I
where
don't
I
think that I
played
can
that
point
a
to an
lot.
FPS or whatever.
Hmm.
I'm pretty sure if you'll tell me what your top 10 games ever, you won't find an FPS game there.
My top 10 games ever. Well, Vampire the Masquerade is kind of FPS and third person.
RPG. It's an RPG. The
It's
FPS part is secondary. Originally,
it's
it's an
it's
RPG.
little it's a little actiony, but yeah, it is
You're a
RPG.
vampire, of course it's an action.
Well, yeah, but originally it's tabletop, so
Yes,
it's even more RPG
most
than the
RPGs.
normal RPG kind of thing.
Yep.
But at the
That's
same
why
time, they took it
when
out of
people
there.
ask me about the game, I'm just like, okay, take Fallout 3, take Fallout New Vegas, take Skyrim, take Oblivion, mix them up all together, create the best game you can make out of those four. It will still won't reach the Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. That's how good the game is, okay? Because it actually originates from the old core of RPG.
Yep, I remember playing the very first Vampire the Masquerade game, which was Redemption.
Yeah,
It did not measure up to Bloodlines, but it was a pretty good game. It was a pretty good game.
it was. It reminded me of Fallout Tactics because I played
Yeah.
it after Fallout Tactics, and but it was so glitchy and buggy, and I'm just like, no.
I think the major problem with that particular game was basically whatever you were killing throughout that game, you were getting the powers of it. So you had this super overpowered vampire by the end of the game, and then there was someone who was even more overpowered than you. It was like
Yeah,
it was very difficult at the ending of that game. It was a very, very difficult
you
game, but
survived to the ending. Wow. I salute you, my friend.
I have seen all the endings of Redemption. So yeah, I've gone through the entire game, but
I couldn't take
it's
it.
hard. It's hard because the last boss can it can kill you in one hit. It's
You
it's
know
a
what
very
the
tough
game that really
boss.
pissed me off? I mean, really, really pissed me off? Fallout
So
1.
yeah.
Fallout 1 was pretty hard, because it was time based like the Fallout 2 one, but it was even shorter time.
Mhm.
And the mobs over there were a little bit harder. Depends on how you create how you control your character and what route you take, with the skills and whatever. But at the end, there is like when you about to meet the master, which is the last boss, and you kill him, and that's it. Like go back to your vault and game over, right? At the vault that the master is in, every time I would click to open the vault, the game crash, and it destroyed me. I was just like, I'm right in the boss. Let me kill him and go home. I want to eat some cookies and I want to have some tea. I don't care about the wasteland. Nope. Game crash.
I'll tell you this, I did not play Fallout when it originally came out. I think I probably played it maybe 5, 6 years after it had already come out. But I remember when I had first played the original Fallout, I enjoyed it quite a bit because the whole turn-based mechanic reminded me a lot of XCOM UFO Defense, and I played that to death as a kid. I loved the XCOM games back then. I used to play the original one and Terror from the Deep a whole lot. So when I found some game that was similar to that, it was something that I immediately fell in love with and enjoyed the game.
Well, funny fact is, I played Fallout 1
Hmm.
after playing so many times Fallout 2.
Yeah.
Yep, I just I don't know why. I know I skipped it to Fallout 2 and so much I so enjoyed it. You can be a freaking porn star and a boxer and to save the world. What game can give you that? Hey, look at me, I'm a porn star and I save the world.
Probably Saints Row 3, but I haven't played it. But I imagine it probably has something like that.
They
But
have
it's not
something
half as
like
good.
that story. Well, I guess Saint Row 3 could do it if you had the aspect of save the world. But yeah.
I don't even know what you do in Saints Row. I've got the game, but I have yet to try it.
I think you're part of a gang or whatever.
That's more or less what I've heard. It's like there's this group of people who can basically do whatever the hell they want, and they're really popular in the town.
Yeah.
Um, and that's all I know about it.
Actually, actually, that's what I know about it because I never played the game either.
Hmm.
I mean, I didn't even bother to buy it. I thought maybe, someday if I'll be really, really bored and I have nothing else to do, then maybe, you know.
I can't remember if I got that Saints Row 3 in a sale or if someone got it for me because I would have never got it at full price. I'll tell you that much.
Well, there are a few games that, in my opinion, worth having for full price. Me, for example, I bought pre-ordered the Hitman game, which was full price, obviously. Well, they're on discount of 5%, whatever, or 10%. I don't know how much is it. And I pre-ordered the deluxe version of Splinter Cell. What was it? Conviction. Yeah,
Hmm.
Conviction. I almost said complication. I was just like, no, there isn't such a game.
Yeah, you could look at it that way.
Well, I don't know if you heard about the Blacklist, the Splinter Cell Blacklist game, whatever. That don't even want to
I've
pronounce it.
I've heard of it, but I've not actually really looked into it.
Don't look into it. I'll save you the grief. Don't look into it. If you ever liked Splinter Cell games, do not look into this game. This is not a Splinter Cell.
I played about an hour into the original,
Really?
and I liked it. I liked the original Splinter Cell, but I never really got into it enough to go through the entire game.
My advice to you: try Chaos Theory and try to really look into the game. Like try to learn the game, how it works. You'll have so much fun in stealth wise. It's amazing. It's like if the first game it was good, the second one was okayish. It was about this as the same as the first game. You didn't really had anything new almost, except for the new places and the new story. But the third game, Chaos Theory, it was like a huge upgrade, a huge step up, compared to the first game. And the graphics of it looks so realistic, even compared to the to games that we have today. you know, you can really compare those games. I mean, the realism, the engine, if you use it on full, on highest, whatever, it's really good. You're gonna have so much fun. Plus, the voice actor and whatever, however, Sam reacts and whatever, it's pretty good.
That's a big reason why I like Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines is because it has emotions in the characters that I really don't see in most games these days. Um, they move their faces in a way that is believable and all that kind of stuff. I went and a lot of people were telling me that LA Noir was going to have these amazing expressions and all that kind of stuff. But when I played LA Noir, honestly, I felt the facial expressions were very forced. So they didn't feel very realistic to me, even though
Yeah,
I was like, oh, these are pretty good, but at the same time, I can really tell that they're acted. They're overacted almost.
yeah. Some of them
Um,
were so overacted. I saw
oh
some
yeah.
videos. I'm just like, well, really? Wow, a very good use of engine here.
It's
Congrats.
it's it's definitely a good game, but LA Noire for me did not measure up to the expressions in Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. I really, really liked that game compared to
And to think that they used the Source engine,
anything.
it's like
Yeah. It's amazing what you can actually do with that if you really know what you're doing and you work hard on the
it's
game.
really sad
And
though that they bankrupt.
oh, it really is. It
Activision,
really
I
is.
hate you.
Yeah,
But they
well,
had to rush
what
it.
can you do? The guys from Troika moved on to do other stuff with other companies. I heard some of them are working with my favoriteest company. Yes, um, Bethesda.
Wow.
Yeah, to do some of their games. And then I also heard that some of them are over with the people who did Eve Online, working on a an MMORPG for Vampire the Masquerade.
I wish. I heard it as well, and it was on hold, and it was canceled, and it was whatever. So
I don't know if that's ever coming, but it did sound very interesting. At one point, the original Redemption game had a multiplayer aspect, and
I didn't know that.
when I had got my hands on the Redemption title, the multiplayer aspect was over and done with, so I never got to experience it. But I heard that what they did was a lot of people would go into the multiplayer area and use it as if it was the tabletop RPG and do role playing in this online world. And I was like,
In the
that's
role
pretty
play.
interesting. That's pretty interesting that they would use that like it was the tabletop game
Well,
and just play it
I
in
don't know if you ever
multiplayer.
played a book RPG, like when you need to use a pen and a pen and paper,
I have,
and
I
a few
have,
dice and whatever. Yeah,
I've
but
done the World of Darkness thing with Vampire the Masquerade before, so
oh really?
I've done
Oh.
that.
I played something Dungeons. I don't know if it was Dragon and Dungeons, but whatever.
Mhm.
Like you go into a dungeon and you have like a few crewmates with you, and you need to roll a dice. And if you roll 4, 5, or 6, then it's a successful, hit or whatever.
Mhm.
And you need to go to page XYZ and read that thing. And now you're on this part, and I did a lot of backtracking in that. I mean, I tried to complete the book like in a good way, and at some point, all my heroes die, and I could never beat the book,
Uh-huh.
because of the dice. I hate that dice. I threw it away after that. What I did was I actually searched for the good ending,
Hmm.
and I spent about a week or two, maybe I don't know how long, maybe longer, and I wrote on a paper, okay, this page is a good ending. Where can I find this page now? And I you know, read through all the book to find that page. Okay, now this is the step, and I just took step by step from the good ending to the beginning. It was I don't know why I did it, but
I remember doing that with the core books for World of Darkness. I took the first book. It was this 300-page book, and I'm usually not big on reading a whole bunch of long books in succession really quickly. But I managed to get through this entire 300-page book in like 2 nights, which is crazy for me because I was enjoying reading it so much. Because what they would do is on some pages they would be explaining the mechanics of the game, and then on the next page they would be doing a little story
right.
um, that had nothing to do with the actual mechanics for the game that you were about to play, and there was just these really strange stories in there that I remember to this day and always look back on, and I'm like, what the hell is that? Because they never explained. Like, I remember there was this story. There was some watering hole out in the middle of a field, and these kids would go swim in this watering hole. In the middle of this watering hole, just had this straight down hole that they couldn't figure out what it was, because the rest of it was you could feel the bottom of it. And so one of them decided to swim down to the bottom of this really deep hole, to see what he could find down there. And so, like, a couple minutes later, his leg floats up to the top, and I'm like, "What the hell is down there?" And they just all run screaming, and that's the end of the story. And I'm like, "What is that?"
No! What was behind there? No! Don't
And
end it like this.
I've never found out what that was, and I don't think you're supposed to, but I really would love to know what the hell was down there, because it doesn't really seem to fit into the whole world of darkness, because they've got werewolves, they've got mages, they've got vampires, they've got demons, all this kind of stuff, but I don't know what the hell would be down at the bottom of this hole, because it's like I've read all this stuff and I'm like, what is that? And it's bothered me for the longest time, and I've always wondered what that was.
That was probably the depths of my brain. A voice
Oh,
started sinking and ran away.
yeah, there was some really good stories in that. It was very enjoyable. None of them had anything to do with the book where it was teaching you how to play, but they were all really enjoyable stories.
I don't know. I really love White Wolf. You know, the guys behind the whole World
Mhm.
of Darkness, etc. They're really really good. I mean, just look again at the story of Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. I mean, every character you meet, there's probably a few hundreds of pages that you could write about them. You know.
I completely blame Bloodlines on Troika. I don't blame White Wolf whatsoever for that being such a great game, because Troika, if you look into it, was the people who worked on Fallout to begin with.
Right.
There's a good reason why it was such a good game, is because it came from people who knew what the hell they were doing. And
Yeah, of course.
that's why they're working with Bethesda now, because Bethesda owns the whole Fallout franchise.
Yeah.
But
I just
I
wish they would release a Fallout game. I mean, not a Fallout Vampire game, but really, really good one and not ruin it and make it like, oh, look at this. This is Skyrim vampires. You know.
yeah, they've had those vampires in the Fallout games too, and I wasn't very thrilled
Yeah.
with the ones in there. They were like, "Oh, we're good people, and we're gonna guard this town over here,
They're
and
actually
if you
coming and telling
bring
you, I'm
us
a
blood
vampire.
packs." Yeah, they're like, "We're not actually vampires. We just have this thing where we need
Suck blood
blood
out your
instead
veins.
instead of eating meat. We just need blood. So we're not vampires, by the way.
It's like,
Totally not
it's a
vampires."
condition that we have, but we're not vampires. Like, we do go outside in the dark when it's night. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, obviously human, you know, not vampire. And we don't sleep in whatever graves, or not graves, caskets, whatever.
Yeah.
What do we call them?
Caskets.
Sarcophaguses? Caskets, whatever.
Sarcophagus is that's more what you would say for an Egyptian tomb,
Yeah.
an Egyptian casket.
Or Azurian. Ashurian? I don't know. It's one of the civilizations back in the past that we don't really care about. Or do we?
Hey, I totally care about that, because it was more or less one of the clans for Vampire the Masquerade. So you had like the followers of Set, who were really big into snakes for whatever reason.
Seth.
and that's a whole Egyptian mythology going on there, and they basically are saying that all that mythology is coming from the vampire clans. It was interesting. There's lots and lots of different White Wolf vampire clans.
Wow. But that does not make any sense. Because if they no, I mean I know that Vampire the Masquerade bloodlines try to connect their bloodline to Cain, which was the biblical murderer brother, right? But Seth, according to the biblical lore, it was the third son that Adam had, so he shouldn't have any relation to the curse of vampirism, because the curse was only from Cain's bloodline.
Yeah, well, technically, if you go past the Masquerade and into the next books, they basically say that Cain was kind of a myth and it wasn't actually true. And
But you meet him.
another thing on top of that is that there is a guy who believes he is Cain and is not actually Cain.
Hmm.
So basically, the books explain that the guy who is in the taxi in Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines, for those people who don't know, is
It's Cain.
Cain, but
Yes.
he is also just a guy who thinks he's Cain. He's not actually Cain,
Oh,
but he is very
maybe
powerful.
he's a Malkavian.
It's very possible. It's very possible.
He does. They do have those, you know, few peoples living in them, pupils, whatever. But I really love them. Like his voice is like, "Where to now?
Yeah, yeah.
Are you sure this is your choice? Maybe you should think about it." You know, when you play a vampire, a Malkavian, and it's just like, ah, start screaming, and it's like, is something bothering you? Ah, where am I? I see it in your voice that something is bothering you. Really? I'm screaming at your ear.
My favorite characters in that game were Smiling Jack,
Yes.
definitely Smiling Jack, number one, and uh, number two would have to be Jeanette and Therese, obviously because they're one person. And then finally, I really liked Damsel. Those were my three favorite characters from that game.
Damsel?
I really liked Damsel. Damsel was one of my favorites.
Wow. Jack, obviously. Duh. Jack,
Oh, Jack is number one.
voiced by John DiMaggio. He does that robot guy with the big eyes. What do you call him?
Bender?
Ben,
Bender.
Vendor, whatever his name is. I don't watch
His
it.
name it's Bender from
Uh,
Futurama. But yeah,
yep.
John DiMaggio, he is a pretty epic voice actor.
Yep.
There are some really good voice actors out there,
Best
and
ones.
John
Actually,
DiMaggio is definitely
here's a
up
quick
there.
list. Yeah, I investigated a lot because I'm just like in love with the voice actors and whatever.
Mhm.
And I actually IMDb'd it and actually checked where each one of them was. You know, in other games or other animation, voice acting or whatever.
Mhm.
So we got John DiMaggio as Smiling Jack. We got Grey Delisle that does the Vorman twins.
She's pretty awesome.
She is actually an Academy Award voice actor.
Hmm.
We have Nika Fuderman,
Hmm.
who does Vivi, and she did. I don't know if you follow the Star Wars, Clone Wars, whatever, Star Wars
She
Clone
she
Wars.
was she was the bald girl in that one.
Yeah, the assassin.
Yeah, I never remember the names from that, but I know exactly who you're talking about.
But the original one, the original Clone Wars, it was Grey Delisle, and then the newer one, it's Nika Fuderman.
Mm-hmm.
She also did. There is a Dead Space prequel cartoon movie thingy. You know, before the Dead Space, the first game, there's like a prequel, and she's like a major role there. She saves that girl that you actually see in the visions. You know, in Dead Space.
Mm-hmm.
You know, yeah, okay. So she saves her in that movie, and we have the guy what do you call him? Beckett, right?
Hmm.
Beckett and the guy that had chopped his one hand and replaced it. I don't remember his name right now, but it's the guy that does Deckard Cain in Diablo,
Yep.
Michael Goth, if I'm not mistaken. And you have like so many voice actors in there. I mean, really, really many voice actors.
Yeah, they had some very amazing ones in that game.
Actually, I played Star Wars. What do you call it? The Old Republic, the MMO.
Hmm.
And I played a character, a bounty hunter, on a Sith side. The female bounty hunter is voiced by Grady Lyle.
Hmm.
And in one of my quests, I came across this quest giver, which was voice acted by Nika Futterman, and I was just like, wow, that's awesome. Two of my most favorite female voice actors in the same scene. Why I don't record it, right? So I actually recorded it and uploaded it on my old channel. You know, after a little bit of editing, of pauses of a few seconds, whatever. But yeah, it was pretty epic.
It seems like a lot of MMORPGs use the voice actors from many of the older video games. Like I was really happy to find out that one of my favorite voice actors, Stephen Russell,
Mhm.
was in a game, an MMORPG that I used to play a lot, which was EverQuest 2. And it was interesting finding out that he was still doing voices and all that kind of stuff because it had been a long time since I had really heard him do anything.
Can I
Um,
mention another name?
you can absolutely mention as many names as you want.
Steve Bloom.
Steve Bloom is a pretty epic voice actor.
He is in Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. He does the Tsemitsi voice, the guy with the red suit with the spikes on his head.
Hmm. Yep.
This is him, and some of the Sabbath as well. Yeah,
Yep. I believe, if I recall correctly, that guy was named Andre or something. Oh, it's been a while.
Andre.
It has been a long time.
What are you talking about? Who is Andre? I don't know any Andre. Does he has vodka? Sorry. I sometimes let Boris Vodka to take over.
I see. I see.
Yeah. It's pretty epic now. Shameless plug! I'm playing Hitman Blood Money,
Hmm.
and I play as Boris Odka, and I suit up, right? A completely different character. Like I try to act up as Boris Odka, even though I do speak Russian originally, right? Because this is my mother tongue. I was born in the USSR, Soviet Russia, comrades, and stuff like that. So, so I'm not like FPS Russia. I'm fake Russian. I'm American, right? I'm actually am Russian, like speak Russian. So yeah, and I do it as Boris Otka, and Boris Otka, all he cares about is vodka, right?
Hmm.
And basically, I completely try to change the game, right? Like my assassinations that I kill is not targets because I get paid. It's because those guys try to steal my vodka or try to hide it. So I need to come and take them out. And what do you call her? Wow, my quest giver, quote unquote. What's her name? Freaking out. Diana. I called her Natasha, right? I had to give her a Russian name. And the cutscenes between mission and mission, I just voice act them. Like that guy interviews the scarred face guy, and they're talking about Boris Odka and about the vodka and about experiences and experiments. By the way, I did a mistake, as instead of experiments, I said experiences a few times in those videos,
Hmm.
and I completely didn't notice it, and it's already uploaded, so whatever. You know, whatever. It's a let's play. I don't care. And I let myself to be, I really usually don't rage in my video games and don't get like all aggressive in my video games.
Hmm.
But as Boris Odka, I don't really care, right? Because it's someone else. It's sort of like it's me, but you play a role of someone else, so it's like quote acting, right? Madneck acting, lol. Yeah. I don't know. I really enjoy it. It kills my throat because when you start raging and trying to speak like Russian, your throat just like stop. Yeah, it's pretty fun.
What does disappoint me about actors like Steven Russell is a lot of the games that he's actually in never credit him, even though he's an enjoyable voice actor, and he can do some pretty good voices. For example, in Thief 2, not only was he Garrett, the main character, he's also Karis, the person you're fighting against.
Wow,
Your ultimate enemy in that game, Karis, is
that's freaking
Garrett.
awesome.
And not only that, but he also does the voices of a lot of the guards in that game. So he's a really amazing voice actor, got great range. And I know for a fact I've heard him in EverQuest 2 before, but I've looked him up on IMDb in the past, and they don't credit him in EverQuest 2. There's no credit for him whatsoever, even though I know for a fact he has done voices. I would recognize his voice anywhere, and it kind of disappoints me that a lot of things don't credit these people who have done voices
Yeah, I
when
know.
they really should.
Or they do like additional voices. What does it mean, additional voices, you know?
Right, right. You don't get to actually know exactly who it was in there.
I don't care about
Right.
anyone else. Just tell me who he is, what role. I just want to listen to him. Sometimes I do that. I just like IMDb some name. I see what roles he did, and then straight away to YouTube, that character name, in that game. I want to hear it. I want to listen to it. I want to show it to me,
Right.
it's all like voice acting in here and there. So I was really interested in voice acting. So I really, really started like searching games. Who is that voice actor? He sounds freaking epic, you know. Splinter Cell. Who is that? You know, Sam Fisher. I don't. I think I like his voice.
Yeah, the cool
Before we.
thing
Oh, sorry.
sorry.
Sorry. Sorry.
Go on,
Oh
go
no,
on.
you got no.
All right, all
I
right.
offended
So
the Fox.
so I imagine you've played Fallout 3 at some point.
Yeah.
And I imagine you've met Harold in there
Yes,
before.
I love him. The one with the
That's
tree. Yeah.
Stephen Russell. That's Stephen
Yep.
Russell who voice acts that. And on top of that, he also voice acts for the robots like Wadsworth in that
I
game.
didn't know that.
He's got amazing range. And people have no idea who Stephen Russell is most of the time, which is really disappointing.
Well, I knew from Fallout
Um,
3. That's for sure because
mhm.
I really like the. It's the guy with the tree on his head. Yeah.
Yep,
Harold, yeah.
that's it.
I really loved him in Fallout 2 because he was such a funny and sarcastic character.
Hmm.
And when you meet him in Fallout 3, in Fallout 2 he was sarcastic, like watching after a plant, power plant, whatever. And
Hmm.
and they just like it was really funny, and he was one of the only characters that had like a speaking head, like a talking head, because the rest, like 90 something percent of the game, you need to read the text that's given,
Right.
and like there are a few main characters that actually had a speaking and talking head, and you really fall in love in that character because it's such a funny, sarcastic character. And then when you meet in Fallout 3, you're just like, hey, it's Harold! Oh, look at the tree, how grow it, what the hell? So, yeah,
Did you know that that Harold is in the original Fallout as well?
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Oh,
he's in Fallout 1, 2, and 3.
wow.
He's not in New Vegas or any of those other things, but Harold is a pretty long running
I
character
don't remember
that
how it
has been
got
in
to
the
Fallout
Fallout
3 though.
universe.
Because he was on the West Coast, and in Fallout 3 it's in the East Coast, so just like, really? What are you
Well,
doing there?
he kind of explains in the game that he managed to get dipped more or less and get a tree on his head, and then he was basically traveling across the wasteland, and then eventually he just got stuck to the
Oh,
ground.
okay.
So
You grow roots, yeah.
right.
But
So basically the whole thing is, I guess he was trying to travel to find a cure or something, or just travel. I don't know, but
I
he got
really love
stuck
that
there.
tree. What, you
The
jealous?
tree
I
was
call him Bob.
the tree was definitely an interesting character, but honestly, I could not feel sorry for him whatsoever. Not even a bit. He was a depressing character, in my opinion, because
Honestly, yes.
you go there and he's just like, I want to commit suicide,
Yeah.
basically. I was like, I don't
That's it.
really like you in this game.
No,
You're
Fallout 2 was
very
such a funny character, though.
yeah. I mean he's very interesting and all that kind of stuff. I mean, how often do you meet a talking tree?
Yeah.
But
No, it's not
but
really a talking
I
tree. Come on.
yeah. Yeah, well, I don't know. I just wasn't into the whole help him commit suicide line.
I
It
didn't.
was it was okay and it was interesting, very out of the ordinary, but I didn't really like it for what it was.
I think I helped the guys that were worshipping him.
Did you?
Yeah.
No, I always killed him because that seemed to be what Harold wanted. So
No, I'm just like, you know what? Screw you. I love you. Stay around. You know, whatever. Okay, so let's take five and continue.
sounds like a good plan.
Okay, be right back then.